Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to dive into something a little different, a career path that's honestly way more interesting than it gets credit for.
Yeah. We're talking refuse vehicle drivers.
Right. The unsung heroes of, well, waste management, the folks who keep our cities clean and keep everything, moving.
And we're going deep on this one. We've got a ton of research from RoleCatcher. They're kind of the authority on this stuff. We're going to break down what it really takes to, excel in this line of work.
When you say excel, it makes you wonder, like, what does that even look like for a refuse vehicle driver? It's not just driving.
You're telling me there's a lot more to it. I mean, think about it. These drivers are on the front lines of public health and safety.
Wow. Yeah.
Every bin, every route, it all matters.
Yeah.
Keeps our communities well functioning.
So there's a real community service element to it, and a lot of responsibility, too, when you think about it.
Absolutely. We all see the trucks, but the logistics behind it all, it's pretty complex.
I bet. Managing those routes, dealing with traffic, weather, even construction, it's always changing.
Right, right.
And then, of course, you've got the physical side of it. Lifting those heavy bins day in, day out, no matter what the weather's doing,
Yeah.
it's a demanding job.
Sound like it. Demanding, unpredictable, and, well, essential. Kind of exhilarating in a way, wouldn't you say?
There you go. And it gets even more interesting. Remember those logistics we were talking about?
Yeah.
Technology is totally changing how this industry works, making those routes more efficient and those trucks, well, way more advanced.
Hold on. High-tech garbage trucks. Now you've got to tell me more about this.
Oh yeah, we're talking GPS tracking to optimize routes live, onboard computers that monitor fuel, performance, everything. Some are even experimenting with automated systems, for lifting the bins and stuff.
Wow, okay. So not just essential, but on the cutting edge, too. That's pretty cool. But let's be real. There's got to be a downside, right? What's the less glamorous side of being a refuse vehicle driver?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, right? Dealing with unpleasant smells, it's part of the job. There's no way around it.
Right. Makes sense. What about the work-life balance? Seems like it could be tough, long hours, unpredictable schedules.
You're right on the money. Early mornings, late nights, even weekends, depending on the company and the routes. It's something to think about.
Especially with how physically demanding it is, it's gonna be tough.
It is. But here's the thing. Despite the challenges, it also comes with some big rewards. Job security, earning potential, it's all there.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
What about the benefits, the stuff that might surprise people?
Well, RoleCatcher's data shows these drivers often earn a higher than average wage.
Really?
And that's before overtime, which is often available. Plus, think about it. Waste management, it's not going anywhere. Every town, every city needs it. That's job security right there.
That's a really good point.
And, beyond the practical stuff, there's a certain sense of purpose to it, You're making a difference every day.
Absolutely. Making a real impact.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, speaking of impact, this job, it can be a stepping stone to even bigger things within waste management.
Oh, really? I always thought refuse vehicle driver was kind of a static role. But you're saying there's room to grow.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Remember we were talking about those logistics?
Yeah.
Oh, someone's got to manage all that. As drivers get experience, they can move into dispatch roles, optimizing routes for, entire fleets.
Wow. So you go from driving the route to, being the architect of the whole thing? That's pretty neat.
Right. And it doesn't stop there. Some drivers, if they're mechanically inclined, they move into fleet maintenance. Got to keep those trucks running, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Others get into training, showing the new recruits the ropes, especially with all that new technology. It's a whole career path.
So many options I never would have thought of. But, okay, let's say you're just starting out. What's the day-to-day experience for a new refuse vehicle driver?
Well, RoleCatcher says the first stage is a lot of hands-on stuff. You're riding along with an experienced driver, learning the routes, getting comfortable with the equipment.
Like an apprenticeship almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you get better, more confident, then you start handling routes on your own, maybe even taking on some training responsibilities.
So there's definitely a path for advancement, but I imagine it takes a certain kind of person to really thrive in this job. What do you think are the key traits of a successful refuse vehicle driver?
Well, obviously a clean driving record, that's a big one.
Of course. Yeah.
And you got to be physically fit to handle the demands. We talked about that.
Right.
But beyond that, it's someone who's adaptable, detail-oriented, good work ethic, the basics.
Someone who doesn't mind being on their own too, right? Out on the open road.
Definitely. There's a lot of alone time, especially early in the morning.
Right.
But you're still part of a team working together to get it all done. It's a balance.
It is. Speaking of balance, let's go back to the tech side for a sec. Those onboard computers, the GPS, all that, how is that actually impacting the day-to-day work?
It's making things so much more efficient, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Those GPS systems, they help with traffic, planning routes, even warn about hazards. It's like having another set of eyes.
So it's not just about, like, brawn anymore. There's a real tech skill set involved now.
Yeah, for sure. And it's only getting more advanced. We're already seeing sensors that can tell how full a bin is.
Really?
Optimizes the whole collection process. It's
Yeah.
all about working smarter.
That's incredible. So we've got the tech, but at the end of the day, there's still that human element, right? I mean, drivers are interacting with people all the time. What about customer service? Is that a big part of this too?
You know what it really is? It's not all just machines and routes.
Right.
They're dealing with missed pickups, answering questions about recycling, being a friendly face in the neighborhood. It all matters.
So there's a real community ambassador aspect to it too. That's
Yeah.
really interesting. I'm seeing this whole career in a new light. It definitely challenges those, I don't know, those preconceived notions people have.
It does. It does. And, speaking of preconceived notions, we got to address that whole dead-end job thing.
Yeah, I think we've kind of debunked that already.
We have. But it's worth saying again, right? With some skills, some hard work, a little ambition, this can be the start of a real career, a chance to make a difference in this industry.
That's inspiring, honestly. Proves that any job can lead to something amazing if you put in the effort. It really does. Like we've been saying, it's so much more than just, picking up the trash. It's about the logistics, the tech, being part of a community, and of course the environmental piece too.
Speaking of, we should probably touch on that a little more. This job, it's a huge part of how we handle recycling, waste diversion, all of that.
Right, making sure things actually end up in the right place.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Yeah.
And that responsibility, it falls on these drivers too. And as we, as a society, I guess, get more serious about our environmental impact, that role's only going to get bigger.
No doubt. Okay, so we've talked about what it takes to be a refuse vehicle driver, the skills, the personality, all that. But what about actually landing the job? What's the interview process like?
The good news is, RoleCatcher gave us some actual interview questions.
Oh, perfect. Straight from the source.
Yep, from the companies themselves.
So what should people be ready for? What are they going to ask?
Well, be prepared to talk about your driving record, obviously.
Makes sense.
Have your license ready, and be honest about anything,
Yeah.
even if it seems small. Safety's a big deal, so they want to see you're taking it seriously.
Definitely.
What else?
You want to show a little something about waste management in general, different types of waste, recycling procedures, even some of the challenges the industry's facing. Shows you've done your homework.
It's about showing you're interested, not just desperate for any job. Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget about those soft skills.
Oh, yeah, good point.
You're going to be dealing with people all day long. Be ready to talk about customer service, how you'd handle a tough situation. Like, say, someone's bin gets missed or they put out the wrong kind.
You are not just in the trash business, you're in the people business, right?
There you go. And last but not least, the tech stuff. Those onboard computers, the GPS, it's everywhere now. Be ready to show you can handle it.
It's amazing how much goes into it, From the challenges to the technology, it's all way more complex than people realize. So, as we're wrapping up here, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this deep dive?
Don't underestimate this field, I guess. It's more than meets the eye, There's real opportunity here, a chance to build a career, to make a difference. You just got to come in with the right attitude.
Absolutely. For anyone out there who thought garbage is garbage, end of story, I think we've proven there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, it's a whole world, really. And who knows what the future holds, right? Maybe one of our listeners will be designing those self-driving garbage trucks.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
It would.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring.